Thank you for tuning in to part 3 of how to get your black belt or achieve any epic goal. So this session is all about the specific techniques, and I'm going to give thanks to all the people that helped me along the way through this as well. So the first and the main thing that I did was just develop my self-hypnosis skills. And this can be also considered meditation skills or focusing mindfulness skills, whatever you want to call it. But the specific technique that I used was a self-hypnosis technique from Mike Mindell and Chris Thompson. And I'll post any of the people that I talk about down below as well in the notes, so you can check them out too. So I used a breathing in through the eyes induction, and then starting back in December on probably it ended up being about half the nights of the week, I would use this to de-stress, to focus on healing, to whatever reason I wanted to use it for that night before going to bed for about 10 or 15 minutes. And I did that on a Shakti mat. So a Shakti mat is a modern bed of nails. It's just got 6,000 little points. And it can be considered painful for some people, especially if you're just starting into it. But I use that as a way that if I can tap in and just focus on myself and on different techniques while lying on this, well, if I do anything after that, I'm not going to feel any pain. It helps me sleep, and it was great for other reasons too. But what I would do is I would put on earbuds, I would press play on the song. It's just called Om. It's meditation music that's going to be played during the 1 hour Dan Jun Ho. So I was linking my brain to this music means calm, means relaxation, it means self-hypnosis, it means potential pain on that Shakti mat, but enjoying the experience and getting a benefit out of it. So I did that. That's the biggest chunk of what I did. And I think that was the biggest factor, one of the biggest factors going forward. The other part, I joined in a group with Lori Hammond, who is an amazing hypnotist. She has a group, Change Your Life with Hypnosis, and there's, from the group sessions that she provided, I determined I want to be the first guy to reverse the effects of melioidosis with my mind. Now, that's pretty big statement, bold statement, that there's a 0.0001% of that happening by using these different things to turn on the genes in the appropriate way to make that happen. But that's what I decided. And from making that decision, it just allowed me more freedom, more potential for things to improve. And that's through that process, that's in mid-March, I realized, hey, I'm actually doing quite well with this. I'm ready for this. So I think that group session and having those other people that are working towards their goals, that was huge. The other thing I did was I de-traumatized that event back when I was 26, 27 with the MRI, that if I can't hold my arm up here for 20 or 30 minutes, how am I going to actively hold it for an hour? The way I did that was really simple. I just remembered a fact that I learned, that most cells in our bodies are replaced after a certain amount of time. And there's some cells in our bodies, some nerve cells in the brain and in our heart that actually stick with you for life. But every nerve receptor throughout your entire body is replaced every 2 to 3 days. And then with the bones, it's somewhere in between 5 and 10 years it takes to completely turn over those bones. So looking back at something that was about 5 years ago, I am a fairly new person compared to what I was then. And just that thought, it gave me the confidence that, hey, that happened in the past, but I'm a new person. I've learned so much more, I've developed more skills, and that's the same result is not going to happen. So that's how I de-traumatized that event. And then that brought me into that preparation all throughout the time, and then beginning to expect that I'm going to succeed from that month or so before all the way to the event, and then that 24 hours before. What did I do then? Well, the night before, hung out with my wife and our flatmates, watched, I think it was Harry Potter, just relaxed, did some self-hypnosis on the Shakti mat the night before, and the next morning I prepared myself that I was going to be in control, It was going to be slow and steady, nothing rushed, had plenty of time, had a great breakfast, an omelet I think it was, had some quality time with Ashley to get that oxytocin levels going, did some more self-hypnosis with the music playing so that I can just focus in my intention on succeeding and doing well with that. And then on the way there, driving with Sean, we just blasted some old school hip hop, which I gotta thank Colin Redden for the CD that we listened to. It was stuff that brought me back to high school and university, and it just made me feel good. So I went into that feeling great. And that, with that preparation, expecting the results, and going into it with that 24 hours before, everything going the way that I was planning. I had no other choice but to succeed. That's the way I set it up in my mind. I had no other way. I was going to hold this for an hour because of all of the stuff I'd done. It wasn't going to happen any other way. So the actual technique of going through that 60 minutes was broken down into 10-minute sections, and with the self-hypnosis that I did, I started an idea of creating some stickiness, some tension, some waxiness in through the fingers, and I would focus on a couple cycles of breath. In for 3, hold for 3, out for 3, in just focusing on getting my fingers stiff. And then I did that for the wrist, and then the elbow, then the shoulder, then the core, then the hips, then the knees, and the ankles. And by focusing on that, and then if Sean came over and gave me a tap to get a little lower, get the hands a little higher, I reset that number in my mind. And by the time I got to my feet, I was about 7, sometimes 8 minutes into it. And then I just had to focus on my breathing for the last couple minutes. Or another interesting one I wasn't expecting was, with the sweat trickling down the face and not being able to do anything about it, I saw that as interesting, and I ultra focused on it. A bead starting on the top of the forehead could take a couple minutes to go all the way down to the chin, and I would just ultra focus on every little bit. Oh, it's going by the eye. That's going to be really sensitive. That's going to be interesting. And that would be a couple minutes gone, and then boom, 10 minutes over, restart the cycle, top the fingers all the way down, and I just kept going through that every 10 minutes. And smiling throughout most of it I know if you smile, you produce those endorphins to make you feel better. So I faked it until I became this for that whole experience. And it also helped that while I was in this, if I started to get a little higher, hands low, I knew Sean coming over and whacking me, he was enjoying it. And I wanted to just give that smile on my face so that he could see that happening too. And he said afterwards, like, oh, I felt bad giving you the whack to get you a little higher up because you're just smiling. It looks like you're having such a good time. And I was. Because now afterwards, I'm able to tell you about this experience, and that I've made a profound shift in my abilities and my confidence in what I'm able to do, because I've done something really extraordinary. 1 hour in a position that is awkward, to say the least. And I'm actually going to be looking at other ways I can do this kind of meditation on a prolonged period. I remember I teach my patients quite a bit about Tibetan monks and how they can sit still for 8, 10, 12 hours at a time. And now I can actually see myself doing that potentially. And that's a really cool thing that I'm going to explore in myself, and I want you to potentially explore with you too. So with all of this, I want you to thank you for watching these 3 parts. Think of that next goal that you want to do, playing in from that last part as well. How are you going to prepare for that task on a daily or a regular basis, even if it's just for a couple minutes? And what are you going to expect that outcome to have? It's not what you're hoping to have, it's, hey, this is what I'm expecting. And I want you to use this in any way that you can, and then once you achieve your goal and are surprised at how well it went, I want you to comment below. Come back to this video, comment below on how you use this technique in a unique and awesome way. So I want you to thank you for watching these 3 videos. Check out the other videos on the website too. And if you have any questions, post them below, or check out the website, www.rethinkpainworkshop.com. And until next time, keep living and loving life to its full potential.